What's up, fam? I think we good for the day. Turn this up a little bit. What's up, fam? Coffee and Kush TV. Ooh, another beautiful day in paradise. Where we at? Where we at? Shout out to the people who support the page, man. My support group is awesome. KevRow University in full effect. Let's see what I got here. Let me turn this off. Keep that right there. All right, it sounds a little better. Let me set this. It's hard to like get this shit situated here. KevRow. When I say it's been a blessing, it really has. You know, a lifetime in history class can't. You could make this shit up if you wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Like who would have ever thought? Who would have ever thought that the same people say they're giving you your freedoms are the same people who put you in that dire situation in the first place? And the mere reason for them wanting to give you your freedom, manipulated form of freedom, is just to get back at their European counterparts who fucked them out of their number one skill, which is slave trading. Press one. Today, I'm gonna just prove to you that these Moors is nothing more. What a coincidence! These Moors ain't nothing more but products of foreign British intelligence, British monarchy. It's the same thing. The pirates are the Moors, are the Spaniards, is Christopher Columbus. You understand what I'm saying? There's no separating the old dynasties of the French and British monarchy without the Moors. There's no separating the African American transatlantic slave trade without British controlled, British owned slave traders themselves, the Moors, and the so-called Ottoman Empire, but the Moors, which Moor is just a collection of various races mixed together to come up under the form of one religious belief, which is Muslim. That's it. Bunch of black North African Muslims running around talking about how the white man got you enslaved. They wouldn't know that if they didn't put your ass in that position in the first place. White man barely getting a dose of his own knowledge right now. What the fuck is this corporation? The Moors are the one who was already trafficking the Native Americans right off the coast, as well as the black POWs of the African continent. The Moors been slave trading all the way up until the 1900s, all the way up until they passed certain laws here in America. Press one. All you got to do is type in slavery in the Ottoman Empire. All this is 16 through 19 through 18 century shit. I mean, this is just a couple grandmas ago, great grandmama now. I don't want y'all to start using words like ancestors and stuff like that. Make it feel like this happened BC or AD or something. I really want y'all to home in the fact that the same political parties and the same knowledge y'all run around talking about y'all Moors and you have to get your denounce being a corporate citizen. It's because they created the whole democratic system. It's called pirate code. The United States government didn't do nothing but in just bring pirate code into what they call, the Constitution. It's sort of like the Virginia Company is sort of like a land ship that docked on land, and all the law of the land is now converted to something that's docked on it, like law of the water, maritime law, military rule, British rule. And come to find out, the pirates ran the Dominican Republic, all of the Caribbeans. And I remember doing the show, they kept saying, Kev, the pirates was black. The pirates was black under this black code, under the black flag, which is still monarchism, under the monarchy. But now it's starting to make sense why the Europeans and them know that the Africans are the ones who sold us into slavery. Now, the Moors can come out and say, we didn't do that, but it's written in the history books. It's written already that the Moors, whether it be the Spaniards, the Portuguese, the African Moor, they was all deriving up out of the African Company of Merchants, which is a British charter company operating from 1752 to 1821 in the Gold Coast. Press what? And before that, it was called the Royal African Company. Do your research. Should we read? Remember, I just gave y'all the East Indian Company. They was sponsored by who? The Dutch. West Indies companies was founded by the same people. Now, who do you think the African? Now, let me get this straight, y'all. The Royal African Company first sponsorships was, and why? Why would the British monarchy need black folk to go around pillaging shit in other black nations? I mean, this is a real attach yourself a favor for a favor. You got a little change, but make something happen. Piracy. All of it was controlled by the British monarchy. So, if the British monarchy is using you as a political tool this way, and this whole while you thinking you know the laws, y'all got access, because the Moroccan Empire did have all of the trade. All that shit went out the window when the British royal family got a hold of all of them trade routes. Y'all talking long, long time ago. Y'all talking, and then the Stewart family, all these is black family. All of these are merchants. So you telling me the pirates was robbing the merchant? No. The pirates and the merchants were in cahoots in trafficking North American Aborigines. Press 1. They was in cahoots. They the same people. French pirates, Dutch pirates, British pirate, all under the different royal companies, whether it be Virginia, the Royal African Company. And a lot of people ain't going to tell you this because a lot of these people you see today came from these offshoots, the Royal African Company. Y'all heard of, what was that African brother that came over to the Americas riding around on horses like he was the monarch of America? What was this? That the Pan-African Marcus Garvey? Yeah. This is British royal family here. That's why what happened to him? A lot of these people was deported back to that, just like a lot of these rappers have been deported, and these so-called leaders who winding up on these islands where they belong. They operating out of pirate code. They get left on the island somewhere. Just leave them there. A mothership like San Alien movie. They all believe in the mothership. They all believe in that. The mothership and the big ship and the ghost ship, because it's a secret language behind that. Behind the veil is a collection of individuals who formulated charter companies to pirate, steal, kill, and destroy the Aborigines and the people of North America and all of the Americas. So Somebody said they were the 10%ers. Now they half of that, 5%ers. You see that, Kevin Ferguson? You see that? 10% is a tax, ain't it? This is how the Moroccan government, the empire, was staying afloat. They knew how to corporatize every damn thing. They know how to implement that tax. The British royal family just beat them to it. The Moroccan government had to was the first nation to federalize or to recognize the American colonies, the 13 families. Why? Because they got checkmated. It's a part of the game. Facts. It's a part of the game. So they got plucked. It's chess, not checkers, right? So the Moors was subverted out of their own position. It ain't got nothing to do with the North Americans or nothing that was going on over here. Other than the fact that the Moors was slave trading this whole time. That whole time, 1600, 1700, 1800, even back when they were royalty. Even back when they was considered royalty. But then they were knighted by what people know as the king. This is going to be good. All you got to type it in. All you got to do is type it in. You'll find them just like the royal companies of East India. You know, the Flying Dutchman on the Pirate to the Caribbean. See, history is like one big riddle. When you start to unravel it, you'll begin to find out not only who you are, but who put you in this position. There's a consciousness about waking up. You just don't wake up and become all-knowing and your third eye is going, no. This is the Afro-American male and woman have to be waking up gradually. Your third eye ain't finna open and you ain't got no information. The same people you're proclaiming to be, whether a Moor of Moroccan corporate slave, last thing you want to be is a slave under the Muslims. Press 1. That's the last thing you want to be. You and I can both agree is a slave. Who you think taught these people how to whip you? Who was that person with the whip on how to break you? Who was that black person? Another slave? It was the same African, so-called from the Royal African Company. Africans don't exist. Africa is a company. Are you following me now? You're not gonna get this from Professor Griff because they want to take you from European control to African control, which is more British monarchy control. You're not getting free jumping from one slave ship to the next when they're all one big slave ship, the same one. You'll be a fool thinking you're not gonna call yourself an East Indian or an Indian and jump on an African slave boat because that's controlled by the British monarch. Hell, you wouldn't even use the American eagle as a logo because that's a fascist European statement you're making. If you was to see an American eagle or Adolf Hitler eagle or a communist eagle, it's all the same faction of the fascist socialist democracies of the world, the same corporations. This is what I'm telling you. Y'all gotta watch these dang Callaways with these eagles and these colors that's flying red and black. These are pirate colors. These are pirate colors. The black flag, the red, black, and yellow flag, that's all Germanic piracy. And that's what I'm saying, y'all. This is what I'm saying. You gotta watch it. So look, the Royal African Company, which is Sacheta now, was the English mercantile trading company set up in 1660 by the Royal Stuart family and City of London, merchants to trade along west coast of Africa. It was led by, and there ain't never been no country called Africa, but anyway, it was led by the Duke of York, who was the brother of Charles II, later took the throne as James II. It shipped more African slaves to the Americas than any other company in the history of the Atlantic slave trade. So I already told you about um, the British controlled East Indian Company, the Dutch West Indian Company, the Asiatic, all of these different companies. That is 13 different companies that established itself. But the biggest slave trader in of them all was who? And who gets the blame even today? The Royal African Company. That's who they used to portray each melanated continent, even our own. And then ours was the first ones to start this Western Hemisphere project of what they call in the Virginia Company and now known as the United States of America Corporate. So the pirates are in cahoots with the British monarchy. In fact, they were financed, just like Christopher Columbus. Why else would they be on a boat with Christopher Columbus? They was financed by the British monarchy, by this shipping company who shipped more slaves than anybody on earth, the Africans. Now, do you see what the Africans shipped more people than anybody ever? These were some ruthless black. These are some ruthless. These motherfuckers right here swore oath. AOF, OAF, nigga. Oath, nigga. In the jacket, hand over your heart to give up your eye if you never expect this type of shit. The reason now, the Moors cannot deny that they were the pirates. They already agreed that they're the pirates, the Morgans, and all of the pirates. They already said they were. So if you was a part of the pirate code and those parts of the democracies which was left, Florida, the whole East Coast, That's where all the islands, where all of these corporate nations was established on the East Coast. That's when it first started going down. So when you see the Spaniards' colonization of America, that's not no damn Europeans. That's these niggas. That's black people. Black Frenchmen. You ever seen a black Frenchman? You hear me? You ever you know? You ain't never saw them folk before? You ain't never saw the black Frenchmen and the black kings of the old and the Stuarts and all of them? Them is who you was fighting against. It was your freedom versus these niggas. I don't know what history I told y'all months ago, like Brother Polite said. I told y'all months ago, the American Revolution was about, nigga, George Washington was with black people. Them is Britons with Moors. Them is British folk with Moors. Selling African slaves. The African Moors was selling African slaves to the 13 colonies. And then they are still Aborigines from America, from one place, from the West Coast, and ship they have way across and come back around to the East Coast and sell American, a real American, as a slave and on his own land, family. That motherfucker talk about 12 years a slave. Could you imagine being sold as if you was an African, coming over here to work and be a slave or an employee of the 13 colonies, which what you would call the Virginia Company, and those that follow? Now the Moors, they got the information on how to get free because frankly, they don't give a damn. They know how you in this position because hell, They helped come up with the rules of the corporate empire. That's all this shit was. I bet you, without a shadow of a doubt, the Moorish Empire, the Moroccan Empire, is nothing more than another corporate entity. They helped the Americas. It's just that British financed them. They helped establish this and all. It's just that Britain had more of the monarchies as a collective. And then you know how they got free? Because the Moors was bringing white slaves too. You know how they got free? The European slaves got together and banned human trafficking. They sure the fuck did. They said no more slave. That's it. You wasn't the only slave. They was real slaves. The planters are like Moors. The planters had no money. None. They had to go get the money from yours truly, but yours truly wanted that slave money. So that's how they got caught up with human trafficking, because the British monarchy was, nigga, they established a throne over there. A real throne off the backs of people. Shout out to y'all, man. 424-209-9506. My phone line stay open. Now, this isn't, when y'all out here telling the American black the real history, you got to tell them your part in it too. You just can't put European slave master on it when you the military communistic arm of the slave master. You the one with the whip talking about he made me do it. He sent me over here. That nigga sent me over here to enslave y'all. I'm sorry, to show them and shit. I'm sorry. And I think that that's unfair to the people that's waking up. And that makes y'all gatekeepers. Gatekeepers upon gatekeepers upon gatekeepers when this shit is going to come out anyway. The farmers had the money and the planters were, even before that. Even before that, I'm talking about the people who was portraying you going over there to get bank loans from yours truly. You got to remember, these people set up a union in the Constitution for themselves. Africans breaking away from Africans. British breaking away from British. They had nothing to do with the established government that was already here. We just learned all their history and nothing else. 424-209-9506. People was calling me before the show. Everybody is not your friend. That's what I'm coming. Everybody ain't your friend. And I'm realizing, I was always wondering, you ever see why that by the Nation of Islam have the crescent moon? It's the equivalent to the Turkish flag. I always wondered why. And now I'm starting to see this is a nation of Turkish descent. The Turks are the pirates. The pirates are the Shriners. The Shriners are the enslavers. The enslavers is the traffickers. You understand what I'm saying? This is the black and white racism game being up from the normal person perspective. I'm starting to realize this is a nation of Turkish origin, where you got people like Ice Cube developing a new contract for black people in America. That's weird. That make me say, I didn't even know that was a damn contract. What contract? And who are you? Who made you all of a sudden leader? And why are all these other blacks validating this? And where y'all birth certificates at? Who the fuck is y'all? Who appointed y'all leaders and shit? And now I see why a lot of these people are being shipped off the islands. being thrown into the Caribbeans, left on islands, deported, never to return. Yeah, you having a good time, but it's only a matter of time before our attention goes somewhere else. There's only so much island jamming y'all can do. There's only so much before the truth starts setting in. You know what I'm saying? Coffee and Kush TV. What up, Brian King? It's good to see you here in the chat room today. You know, I had no idea that there was a British. That's why I like my class. There was a Royal African company, and I've just been researching and researching and researching, and it all goes back to the continent. You cannot say Africa is not Asia. The continent of Asia is what y'all call in Africa. That is Asia completely. You couldn't say that Africa. I'm gonna show you this. You can't say Africa is not Asia. And that's what I'll be saying about General Seti. Like, bro, y'all talk about Africa as if it's not a continent connected to Asia. Press one. Which y'all, and now I'm starting to understand why niggas say the Asiatic black man is God. I'm like, what? What? So you got a bunch of Moorish people, Turkish, Spaniards, melanated, Mongol, all together in unison under Islam, in the banner of Islam. That's really all you got. Which creates this entity. And then y'all tell me that I'm a Moor and I'm a Muslim and a white man gave me the Bible. The white man ain't never stuck no Bible in my hand. Press one. Ever. Ain't been ever no white person came up and put a Bible in my hand and just said I'm bringing you up right. Never. Never seen that in my life. I seen it on TV with Joel Osteen funny ass, but I ain't never seen. That ain't never happened to me. So I don't believe it. I don't believe it. They won't see. It's always a holy war. The Muslims versus the real Christians. And I'm gonna prove to y'all that this whole history thing is about you, who they call the Afro American here in the Americas as God's treasure. Press one. And why, if you get them, the world is yours. You control them, the world is yours. You they treasure. But you're gonna explain. You're gonna be able to see that after I get done with him. Is that why John Wick had to go to Moroccan desert and see the elder in the high table? I guess so. I guess that's where he went, to the Moroccan Empire. But this is all of y'all, all of the Africans. That means European Africans and Caucasian and East Indians, white people, black people, and the Ottoman and Turkish Empire. All of you agents of confusion, that's y'all. That's not us. We can't be deported nowhere. The Moors was deported and disbarred all over the place. Press one. They was banned. They was banned from Spain. We can't be deported. You do know that, right? We can't be deported. You can be enslaved in a private prison. You cannot be deported. You're the only nation of people that can't be deported from this place. You know, a lot of people is here on temporary shit, and that's what the Moors do got right with the contracts and stuff like that. But the main thing is they leave themselves out of the transatlantic slave trade when they were the stronghold of the British Empire before they said, all right, it's our turn. It's time for lieutenant and colonel, this one and that one, to take over. And there was a lot of pirates that had a lot to say about it, but eventually, the outlaw shit wear out, and the British monarchy just go ahead and just reclaim what was already theirs. Because again, they funded the whole thing from all sides, because that's what they do. Somebody said feudalism. Yep. And they want to convince you that you're Indian, you're Moroccan, you're African, you're African American. All of these terms are so many other things. All of these things are corporate owned slave names. Each one of them is a corporate owned slave term. Your name is just your name. But when you start breaking yourself into racial identities and colorism under specific British laws and foreign governments like that, you subjugating yourself to a big problem, especially if you're raising your kids this way. Then you can get people to be like, shit, Pinky in the brain. Pinky and Mr. Fauci and Bill Gates over there has donated $3 trillion to the American Black African Fund for all baby mamas who, as long as you just take the money. That's all you need is the agreement to call yourself any of that stuff. You couldn't offer me enough no more. It ain't even about a price. Like, your heritage matters the most. Finding out who we are matters to me. I know there's like Mason. If you know what Mason is a what? Okay, of the foreign legion. You can type that in. Let's type in. It's like a stewardess or something like that. A steward for the British monarchy. It's dead fucking urban dictionary. It's just wild, man. You remember? But its origin comes from the British monarchy. It ain't nothing but it just stands for Mason. That's all it means. And Mason ain't nothing special. It's just a partner. It's an allegiance of secrecy to not tell you the complete truth of what's really going on. A lot of these people don't even know that they're a part of it. I bet you Mason and Tamika Mallory. Well, Mason didn't know Tamika Mallory got $100,000 from George Soros until he found out. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know what agent, because a lot of different characters out here, the British monarchy and the king and the queen of this world, control this shit. Well, have been controlling it. The native races of the Pacific states in North America goes into what more detail of what you're talking about. Might be. I never heard of it, but if you could point me in the right direction, Mike, that'd be great. That'd be great. I just like to get up here because nobody else is doing it and let you know that our friends is not our friends, and it goes a lot deeper than just, oh, the white man got us in slavery. Look at what they did. No, it's deeper than that. These people put you into, it sold you your birthright, plundered your villages, all that. Your story over here as an Afro-American is so cold, they don't even want you to find out about it. They don't even want you to wake up to what they've done in the last 200 years. Moors and European Moors and Spaniard Moors and the Conquistadors, the Conquistadors, or whoever. It wasn't just European. These people was black Africans put forth by yours truly, the royal, what do they say, the Royal African Company, which is another corporation, another ship, another elite. These are your slave boats, right? These are the people who enslaved you. I told you. British East India, Dutch West India, all of these people apologize. You know this? Did you know this? They all apologize for this travesty. You just ain't did nothing about it. You just ain't sued them. You ain't sued them for nothing. Hold on, let me play this real quick. Let me play this. Y'all probably can hear. I hope you can. I'm gonna play it loud so it play in the microphone.
The demand for the pinnish sugar was huge. To meet the demand, they needed more slaves, but they had to raise cash to buy.
Must claim your particular kit.
Listen to this. Now you know what, I'm gonna bring it up here. I want to prove this to y'all. Look, it's a video called "How the Slave Traders were African kings." Y'all go. This shit is wild, family. I'm gonna let this play for a second.
Google Career Certificates provide online training for in-demand jobs. They're developed by Google.
Humanity tempered with justice towards the former must ever be exercised. They surely deserve it, being the very means of our support.
They should be kept clean of ticks.
The demand for the pinnish sugar was huge. To meet the demand, they needed more slaves, but they had to raise cash to buy those slaves. They turned to the merchants in the city of London for help. The moneymen were prepared to give loans to planters, but it was the higher profits from the slave ships that offered the best returns. The city wanted that business all to itself. The king was always ready to trade favours for cash. He granted a royal charter which gave a single London company, the Royal African Company, exclusive rights over the slave trade. In return, the royal family became its biggest shareholders.
Boom. Did I tell you? Did y'all hear that? I hope y'all heard it. In return, listen to me. I said it loud and clear. In return, they was giving majority of the shareholders. The London Company did the same thing. They ain't nothing but the black arm of the London Company, which is the Virginia Company, which I don't know why dang Calloway and them ain't telling y'all this, is your slave master. I don't even know why y'all keep saying the white man, the white man, the white man. These are black people too, family. I say this is black people too. Remember, you got British black monarchy before this little fake ass King Edward I or whoever this first king is and that first fake European queen is. Okay, who stole the identity once everything was overthrown. They just took over this shit. They was running, the Moors was running the transatlantic slave trade. Y'all better be glad they whitewashed it. You better be glad they whitewashed their history and all that shit. Because that's what they did. Yeah, you're damn right they whitewashed it. They don't need you no more. Why do they need you and you just help them take over the Aborigines of America? The same thing y'all did with Africa, or what y'all calling Africa. All of it. They helped the French, The Moors helped the French, the British. They conquered Liberia. They everything. Tell me the British folk and the French didn't do that. Tell me it wasn't these black British who and Frenchmen really who went and really destroyed a lot. Wait till I tell y'all about what's that famous colonel? What's that famous general? Napoleon. But let's go back.
Slaves as his principal asset, and he looked after his asset. I flatter myself to say a word respecting the care of my slaves and stock. Your own good sense must tell you they are the sinews of a plantation, and must claim your particular care and attention.
Humanity tempered with justice towards the former
His asset. I flatter myself to say a word respecting the care of my slaves and stock. Your own good sense must tell you they are the sinews of a plantation, and must claim your particular care and attention.
Humanity tempered with justice towards the former must ever be exercised. They surely deserve it, being the very means of our support.
They should be kept clean of ticks.
The demand for the Finnish sugar was huge. To meet the demand, they needed more slaves, but they had to raise cash to buy those slaves. They turned to the merchants in the city of London for help.
Humanity tempered with justice.
I told y'all who the merchants was and who's the London company. I'm telling y'all, they turned to the merchants and the who. All right, they went straight to they know who.
Justice towards the former must ever be exercised. They surely deserve it, being the very means of our support.
Moneymen were prepared to give loans to planters, but it was the higher profits from the slave ships that offered the best returns. The city wanted that business or...
So the planters, like the brother said earlier, was the landowners. Now the banks, we'll give you some land and shit like this one. But shit, we really pay on slaves. Well, that right there.
to itself.
Listen.
The king was always ready to trade favours for cash. He granted a royal charter which gave a single London company, the Royal African Company, exclusive rights over the slave trade. In return, the royal family became its biggest shareholders.
Charles II, by the grace of God, King of England, Scotland, France, and Ireland. To all to whom these presents shall come, greeting. Whereas Guinea, Benin, Angola, and South Barbary, and the Soul...
South Barbary. Those are y'all. All you gotta do is type in the Barbary. Listen, y'all. The pirates. The Barbary pirates. I'm gonna type that in. Barbary Coast Pirates. Now y'all see why they got the Barbary Coast shut down down here. Press 1. I bet you they was shut down because too much trafficking. That's not even a joke. That's probably just the truth. That's what pirates do. Period. Look at this. Speaking of the Barbers and the Concierges, this is all y'all. The Barbary. Y'all ever heard of the Barbarians? Y'all ever heard of You ever heard of the Barbarians? This is them, y'all. Okay? The Berbers. Yo, man, we the Berbers, man. We this one and that one. We this one, man. We the Indians, man. Y'all just don't know how deep the oath is. Y'all thinking y'all waking up and y'all being rocked back to sleep by the same people who calling you the Berbers, the same people call you the Indians, the same ones who gonna call you property of an African. Okay, the Barbary pirates are the Barbary Corsairs or Ottoman Corsairs. So when you're dealing with the Ottoman Empire and all of that, is who you're dealing with. Were Muslim pirates. Muslim pirates who operated in North Africa, based primarily in the post of whatever those is, Algiers, Tunis, and Tripoli. These were also known in Europe as the Barbary Coast in reference to the Berbers. When the frequency of range of slave attacks increased, shit. That shit is wild, family. Came under the sovereignty of the Ottoman Empire. Slaves in Barbary could be of any ethnicity in many different regions, such as Christian, Jewish, or Muslim, which the raids had occurred since after the Muslims' conquest of the Iberian Peninsula in 17. The term Barbary pirates and the Barbary Corsairs are normally applied to the raiders, active from the 16th century onwards, with the frequency, and that goes back, boom, 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 were raids undertaken from Saleh and other ports in Morocco. Definitely a lot more history there and symbology once you start paying attention to the flags of the Corsairs. Press 1. You start noticing what you're looking at. It ain't just, the pirates and all. They telling you that's a joke. That's cartoon shit. The real life thing is the pirates. The pirates was nothing more than the first wave of the British war against the Americas. The first wave, and they used people to do so, whether it be trafficking or sending a legion, a collective of pirates from different nations of barbarians to pillage and destroy and plunder everything, because they ain't got no money. They coming through just to spy, destroy, pillage, act like a bunch of wild men, discover and find out where the untapped minerals is, so the real people can come in and say, all right, guys, that's enough right here. We coming in right now with oil rigs and boom, boom, boom. That's the bigger part of the plan nobody likes to talk about, because this is the same 18th and 19th century that these industrial revolutions, reproduction revolutions began to happen. Reconstruction periods begin to happen. The deconstruction of your old history and the incoming of this false story and false narrative, y'all, we living in today. Don't forget about your boy Mansa Musa. Yes, another Turkish pirate. Press 1. Talking about the richest of the world. They plundered the most. See, these people got y'all, these daylight people with these Musa, y'all going and worshiping Ottomans and Muslims and people of foreign descent, of Turkish, of rebellious thuggery, when they wasn't the richest of them all. What are y'all talking about? These people are trying to prop these pirates up who sold you into slave. What was the biggest thing of the time? Slave trading. Of course you would make all that money slave trading when you running and when you's a Berber. Press 1. When you was a Moor pirate, who the richest Moor pirate of all time? Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa, because the black man is the richest ever. We used to be rich like Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa was selling. He was a pirate, a conqueror, selling niggas. Y'all quit giving y'all slave master all the power by just sticking to the white man. White man, what? He just got free too. This white man in America just got free. That's why he running wild. Like, he ain't never had no freedom. And black Americans like, man, this shit is awkwardly cool, whatever. At least we can put up with it. White man in America is a science project going crazy. He wasn't never supposed to be friends with us. Now we all friends. The motherfuckers, get out. They don't voted the pirates out. Get out. Democracy. We'll keep the democracy, but you gotta go. You gotta go. We don't do slavery no more. We don't do slavery. You know what I'm saying? When you find out these white people just got free in 1776, family, you wasn't the only person who they just got free. Y'all was brought up under the Confederacy. They just got free. They just broke away. They scared of black people. If y'all went through what these white folks went through in slavery, y'all be scared of black people too. You just don't understand yet. But you will. If you went through, but tell me I'm lying. These white people went through slavery. Just tell me I'm lying. If you went through this, if I went through some shit, you feel me? Under the hand of the Moors. The Moors taught them how to treat you. And we'll be right back. We'll be right back. KevRow. Yeah, bro, it don't stop. That's all I'll be doing, y'all, is watching and listening to
and only trade and traffic thereof are the undoubted right of our heirs and successors, and whereas the trade of said regions is of great advantage to subjects of this kingdom. The Royal African Company is to be incorporated in the name of our dearest brother, James Duke of York, His Highness Prince Rupert, Anthony Earl of Shaftesbury, Henry Earl of Arlington, His Grace the Duke of Buckingham, John Earl of Bath.
it's in the corporation. Non-profit selling niggas. Facts.
We hereby grant unto the same Royal African Company.
I'm gonna go back to that in a second. It's going on break. This is real information. This is 2016. Right?
To set to sea as many ships as shall be thought fitting for the buying, selling, and bartering of gold, silver, negroes, slaves, goods, ware.
I told you. Press 1. Y'all, I told you. See, this is the type of shit make me roll up. Because I didn't even know he was going to say that right here. I told you. Selling Negro. Now do you understand what I'm saying? Selling Negro. Yeah, I think that's it right there. I think that's enough.
Exclusive rights over the slave trade. In return, the royal family became its biggest shareholders.
Charles II, by the grace of God, King of England, Scotland, France, and Ireland. To all to whom these presents shall come, greeting. Whereas Guinea, Benin, Angola, and South Barbary, and the sole and only trade and traffic thereof, are the undoubted right of our heirs and successors, and whereas the trade of said regions is of great advantage to subjects of this kingdom. The Royal African Company is to be incorporated in the name of our dearest brother, James Duke of York, His Highness Prince Rupert, Anthony Earl of Shaftesbury, Henry Earl of Arlington, His Grace the Duke of Buckingham, John Earl of Bath. We hereby grant unto the same Royal African Company of England to set to sea as many ships as shall be thought fitting for the buying, selling, and bartering of gold, silver, negroes, slaves, goods, ware, and manufactures.
The company's men would let nothing stand in the way of their drive for profits. They already knew that slavery was widely practiced in West Africa. In most African nations, it was an alternative to a prison system.
Those who committed crimes, convicts, could be sold into slavery. If you owed a debt, you could be sold into slavery. Sometimes through deceit, or you could be tricked into slavery.
Slaves were also acquired as captives of Africa's wars. Europeans had long been part of an established system for bartering them.
The first Europeans who came to Ghana were the Portuguese, and they arrived in 1471. And when they got here, they found that there was a brisk trade in slaves between Ghana and its West African neighbors. And for 100 years, Portugal remained on the coast of Ghana and took part in this coastal trade.
So what? The Africans was already selling Africans. Press 1. You going to Ghana for what? They the first ones. What you going to Ghana for? So the white man saw that y'all was slave trading. He said, fine, I'll take part in this shit too. This shit wild, fam. You can't make this
Going
shit
to
up.
Senegal, bringing goods from Senegal, from Nigeria to Ghana, and bringing slaves in exchange for gold. And this was a situation before the transatlantic slave trade was in.
So y'all was selling each other for gold. Y'all selling for gold.
Introduced.
The Royal African Company had no interest in the coastal trade. They wanted slaves to ship across.
You see why they said, you see why they need you to be African? So that statement to be true. Y'all sold each other, but we not African. No, y'all African because y'all sold each other. No, we not African. No, y'all African because they sold y'all to us. Y'all not African, but we not African. Man, everybody know y'all African, but we not African. But that's what our records show, because that's why it's legal for them to sell y'all to us, because y'all African. That's what they said, but we not African. But I'm telling you, that's what they told us. That's why we bought to it. So to us, it's African. And he's telling you, you got to take that up with them, because they saying y'all in slavery because they put you in, they got you in slavery. Yeah, they put you in slavery. You got two slave traders arguing with each other, with the slave just looking at these fools, trying to come up with a reason why they enslaved you. See, if you're not African, it's really illegal. But if you African, it's okay, because they sold it to you. They sold you to us. You get me? The Buccaneers, which was privateers by Buckingham, they just told you this. Privateers and pirates under the Skull and Bones banner. You talking about what is the Illuminati? The Skull and Bones pirates, Buccaneers, British monarchy. Come on, guys, wake up, wake up.
The Atlantic. They found a ready supply in local prisoners of war.
When you went to war and you defeated the people, you took captives.
So the North Africans, the Moors, as they say, and all of these people was already in dealings with the Portuguese. When the Portuguese got there and seen it, oh, it's popping. But the Portuguese ain't no different from them. They dark-skinned people too. They just dress more fancier with a big army, because again, they British Royal, what's that company? The Royal British Company. So they eat good, they dress good, and fine linen, trust me.
So we decided what to do with the captives. How many slaves do we need for farming? How many do we need for the army? How many do we need for domestic work, etc., etc.? After they've gone through all those logistics, the excess goes through the Atlantic slave trade.
The image we have today of the slave trade as mass kidnapped by Europeans couldn't be further from the truth. For both sides, this was just business.
The African role in the transatlantic slave trade must not be swept under the carpet.
That's right. That's right. So what you talking about? We Africans and this one and that one. It must not. This was one big Moroccan slave trade empire. Press 1. They was shipping you all over the place, your own brother. And sitting up there talking about, oh yeah, the white man did it.
The greed factor was there.
It's like the story of one of the biblical stories of the young man who got sold off into slavery and became a prince right in front of their face because they stupid. That's why.
Kingdoms made money. They rose as a result of the trade. Big, powerful people, rich families were created as a result of the Africans who were active collaborators in the trade.
The company found that African kings were just as greedy as England's own royal family. They were willing to supply exactly what the plantations needed.
The slave owners in the West Indies, they preferred slaves from the Gold Coast because they said these were very hard.
Now, what are the West Indies? What are the West Indies? That's the same continent. Let me ask y'all some of these blind devils. Why would they get, how could Columbus find, how could they be looking for the West Indies and the East Indies when they all share the same continent? Fuck up and find America and mistakenly call America India and Indies. That don't even make sense because all that shit is on the same continent. See, I wish we can go back in time to our motherfucking history class and really ask our teachers this very one thing. How could they get lost if they all on the same continent? Let me show you something. You know what I'm saying? This is just pathetic. How could you get lost? That's all I'm saying. How could you get lost and find, oops, I found America on accident because the wind took our boat off course and over the Atlantic slave trade, Atlantic Ocean, and we found Indians. You feel me? Go in Kush TV. This type of shit make you mad. How did I believe this? The history is a fantasy. Moors, people, you Moors and European history are in collaboration with hiding history from the native, from the Aborigines of North America, because both parties are guilty of trafficking these native-born citizens all through North Africa and getting them off their own homeland only to rob and pillage their communities while they gone. And since the privateers, buccaneers, the Indian companies, the Virginia companies were all part of the British monarchy controlling the trade routes, it's no wonder why every so once in a while a goddamn boat, pirate boat, will go up missing but end up in Cape Town somewhere and slaves coming off being sold. Even though it's illegal, human trafficking is illegal. Human trafficking always been illegal, y'all. They telling you East Indian, West Indian, Caucasian, North African history of how they fucked you up. Your story is that should always be, they always be enslaved. You just didn't know that your own Frenchman brother would do this to you. Or not just French, they're Africans, North African Royal Company. You wouldn't think so.
King Heidi slaves.
Local businesses sprang up to supply the transatlantic market. The European traders had no need to round up the slaves.
The Europeans themselves did not go inland to the villages or to the town to capture slaves. They remained at the forts and the castles. And it was the African traders who sold the slaves to the Europeans.
Who you think you talking about? It's hard for them to even, the traders, the merchants and traders. I'm already telling y'all who they is.
Europeans. Now, what happened was that there were middlemen who would meet the inland traders bringing the slaves. They would buy these slaves and then in turn resold them to the European merchants in the castles.
Rival European powers were building castles to protect their cargoes. Within a century, there would be a fort every 3 miles on what used to be called the Gold Coast. It came to be known as the Slave Coast. The Royal African Company appealed to its major shareholder, James II. He began a string of garrisons, motivated possibly by the national interest, but more likely by his own profits. Every time a British ship was sighted, its sailors could rely on a welcome from the fort and from the African settlement next to it.
We took up our old anchorage opposite Cape Coast Castle and made arrangements for commencing our old business of gathering a cargo. Our first object is to lay in stocks of rice for the slaves on the passage to the West Indies. You will naturally think it must be difficult to transact business with these people from it.
So, now let me ask y'all something. So where's the West Indies at? And where's the East Indies at? Where's the West Indies at? Come on, classroom. Come on. Remember, West India Company? Remember the East India Company? You remember this? This is all Dutch control at the time. Press 1. So you're entering all of these people. They're just saying West Indies and East Indies, so you don't gravitate to the real hand at play here. This is the East Indian Company and West India Company. One owned by the British, one owned by the Dutch. So the British monarchy was not only taking part in slave trading within themselves in African colonies, the Dutch was also involved in trafficking back over there in the East and West Indies. You know how? Because both of those was getting funded by yours truly, the British Dutch East India Company. God damn, y'all was doing some trafficking. Look, the Dutch West, remember we brought up the merchants? Listen, the Dutch West India Company was a charter company of Dutch merchants as well as foreign investors. So this is recent. And the Dutch participation, oh my goodness, y'all gonna want to see this. Y'all gonna want to see this. That's what I'm saying right there. The Dutch West India Company, blah, 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 blah. Among its founder was William Usselin, Jesse de Forest. It was granted a charter for a trade monopoly in Dutch West Indies by the Republic of the Seven United Netherlands and given jurisdiction over Dutch participation in the Atlantic slave trade, Brazil and the Caribbean, and what? North America. The area where the company could operate consisted of West Africa. between the Tropic of Cancer and Cape of Good Hope and the Americas, which included the Pacific Ocean and the eastern part of New Guinea. You see what I'm saying, y'all? So when they say that they was just handing them off they just admitted that they all was taking part through companies, through the Dutch and the British monarchies, the lords and the dukes of the world. Yes, it was a India Ocean coast slave trade. Thank you, Kush. Thank you.
To their language. But they have been for so many years trading with the English that all the traders have broken English enough for the purpose.
The transatlantic slave trade dominated West Africa. For some kingdoms, selling slaves became an economic necessity, and all along the coast, new trading settlements were springing up.
In the 17th century, the Atlantic slave trade became the most important activity on the coast. We find that almost every town, coastal town, and almost every European fort and castle was involved in slave trading. So we have
Check this out. Check this out. The New West India Company, when the GWC could not repay its debt, once again, it's all about the debt. Remember, 1674, the company was dissolved. But because of high demand for the trade of the West, mainly the slave trade, and in fact, still many colonies existed that decided to establish the Second Charter West India Company, also called the New West India Company in 1675. This new company had the same trade area as the first, all ships, fortresses, and was taken over by the new company. Man, this is crazy.
65 slave markets in Ghana alone.
The Africans could hardly...
Do you want to know how to get paid to learn about cryptocurrency?
That's fucking insane. Sometimes some things you can't make up.
Anticipated the consequences of all this. But the bargain they struck with the European slave traders transformed the continent. What started as a local tradition turned into a monster that eventually swallowed 12 million people.
Slavery existed.
12 million is the exact number you missing.
In societies that had no prison systems, it was part of the punitive measures against criminal conduct, criminal behavior. The slaves lost their liberty. They went away, maybe into the neighboring state or the neighboring nation, but only for a season. It was not a long-term loss of liberty. And the children of the slaves, of course, were never slaves in that context. But here, of course, with the transatlantic slave trade, you have a final separation. People went away and they never came back.
I don't care what they say. They talking about you. That's what they talking about. They talking about you.
Slavery would spirit millions away from the continent. It would be the cause of war and torment. And it would drag both Africa and Europe into a harsh new era.
This is crazy information. So, as I say, the best thing you can do is do your research on not only just slavery happening, but the companies that surrounded slavery. Don't let nobody tell you none of this stuff didn't happen. All of these things happen. It's just not in the peripheral of how they told you the story. And there's a lot of people up here telling you not to Google things and like, oh, we don't go to Google. We go to the books that they wrote for us, that they told us. You can believe in that book that the white man wrote, but I'm going to believe in the Spaniards' book of what they say they found over here. Yeah, a lot of these fake aboriginals ain't nothing but people who came over on this boat. Once again, y'all might have been born after you was a foreigner. You don't know who is who until they test you. Put one of the microchips in your damn arm, let a magnet stick to you. You find out your ass is a foreigner or something. Coffee and Kush TV. You feel me? Go over there to my. I'm gonna be dropping the links in my Discord and my Coffee and Kush and my KevRow University today. And I want to just brush people up on the information. That way, when I come online, a lot more people have something to discuss. So be looking forward to that today. I will be dropping a lot of that. I will. I'm just working a lot, and in my free time, being free. So, I really want people to pay attention and partake when I am online. That's why I open the phone lines 424-209-9506. But exactly what I'm saying here is that not only were the Africans are I'm not going to say the Africans. I'm going to say the Barbary pirates, the Barbary pirates, Virginia Company, and the Royal African Company were all slave trading. All a part and all attached itself to each government. To authorize from the Dutch to the Spaniards to the British to to what they call North Africa today. All of those people was nothing but enslavers. Moorish Empire and Moroccan Empire and Ottoman empires. These are the same empires who went slaughtering and enslaving those people, the Aborigines on that continent. Berbers were the so-called blacks along the African chief who sold us. You correct, G. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, sir. Yes. The Berbers, the Barbers, all of them. It's the same thing, different pronunciation depending on if you're a Dutch, Englishman, or whatever the heck you is, however you pronounce it. But these, as a collection, they were all the same. You know what I'm saying? It was all a business to them to go into these areas of Aborigines, just totally annihilate. Y'all, it's on film what they did to the Africans. They don't want to show the Afro-Americans what they really did. You just now finding out they fed y'all the alligators. No. They opened up guillotines, dogs. These people are bear handlers and shit. The people that came here to destroy you was ruthless. That's how they got you off balance. Same way they do it now through subversion. 424-209-9506. There's no way that you can say.
So here's the problem.
You can't say that the Moors helped Columbus or the Spaniards, which was operated out of Rome, that helped the Romans get here.
It has been established.
And if the Moors not only just did it here in Americas, but the Aborigines of all the continents, the North Africa, the black arm of the royal family, which is the Royal African Company, they got blood on their hands. The pirates, the buccaneers, and all of these people, they was pillaging the islands and raping the women. Praise one. That's what they do. I'm not expecting to get no calls today because actually I think people starting to realize that I'm waking you up to a lot more than was being told, and there's not too much to say. The Berbers in North Africa still got their slaves. That's what's I didn't know that. And that's what this class is for. It ain't just the white man enslaved you. These people came just like they came to North Africa, South Africa, and all of the countries thereof on that continent, even Asia and stuff like that. A lot of European white people was enslaved at the same time. So the complete story of how we ended up under this type of servitude, you got to really ask the Moors, because the Moors are the ones who knew the legal breakdown and the go abouts and how to go here to here to here to not get trafficking laws in various different places, because they were navigators. They sailed the high seas big time. Moors did the pillaging and plundering. Hey, Kevin Ferguson, now you get it, right? They was just pillaging, they just killer shit. When the pirates got on land, you see why they was pillaging? Why they took Pocahontas? Because you on the seventh sea all this time with men, bruh. Y'all finna go crazy. What do you think the Vikings were? Nothing but pirates. All of these mythical stories on how they all rode in unison like this one and that one. A lot of these stories is made up mythical shit to make they shit look like superhero. A lot of that shit was just piracy going back and forth. 1600, 1700, 1800, and 1900. And having control of it all. Do your research, Chris. Do your research. You're not supposed to be in this classroom, Chris. I'm sorry for your luck. Come back another time. Shout out to y'all. If y'all want to donate to the channel, please go to my Cash App. Cash tag is Gills Gang. Patreon.com/KevGillsTV. Sign up to the Patreon, of course. And yeah, 424-209-9506. Africans selling Afro-Americans to the European. True or not? True or false? Feel free to chime in at any time. I get enough support. I don't want to leave, but if I have to, because we're gonna start getting into Marxism, democracy, and Confederacy, the legion behind it all. And I really want people to be on top of their game and paying attention. Area code 424-209-9506. And a lot of people just be wanting us to believe that it's just white folk who put you in slavery, but they didn't do nothing but take over the American front of the slave trade, which was owned by what? The Virginia Company, which is British monarchy. That's what the revolution was all about. Distancing themselves from them, right? Did they? No. No. Because both of them was being funded by the same individuals. Coffee and Kush TV, you on the air? What up?
Yeah, this is me.
Okay, what's on your mind? This is me.
Yeah. No, I was thinking about this Moorish connection. I called a couple of weeks ago to talk about my great grandfather, who was Muslim and from I can't think of where he was in Africa, but one. And he was bought from Turks and Caicos when he was fighting the British. He was bought by a senator, Senator Spalding, who owned land on Sapelo Island. And he was bought because he, as an overseer and to fight off the British. And I mentioned then, when he was going to fight, he said that he wouldn't fight with the Christian dogs. We were already there. My family members who were already there. So there's definitely a difference in the way that he thought of other black people of his complexion or even lighter, and his own Muslim brothers and sisters. And he was definitely in a position to be an overseer. And he was definitely given land for his efforts. So I know about that connection. And I also know that there were, that was a senator, Senator Spalding, but also R.J. Reynolds owned property on that island. So those are direct corporate ownership, and maybe not purchased, but overseas by purchased Muslims. I'm sure earlier on there were sales done by Moors.
When you say early on, what do you mean by early on? What's early on?
In the early, this was 1811, just before so-called British War.
That's late.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So much earlier on, I guess in the 1800s, there probably were, from what I read,
So you saying
the
there
Portuguese and the what?
probably was black Moor slave traders in the 1800s?
Yeah, I would think so, because that's a part of Moorish culture,
What?
history to today.
Slavery?
Yeah.
What do you mean by Moorish
They own
culture?
slaves.
So they own Afro-Americans.
I wouldn't say Afro-Americans, but within their own culture and capture of others, of outside cultures, they had slaves who serviced their families. And still do.
So that's just a part of Moorish culture is be to round up slaves.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I mean, anything towards just so. All right. So that pretty much confirms it. They slave traders themselves.
Yeah. But I think for them, it's an everyday thing. That's just a position. Just like with Indians, they have a caste system. For them, there are just certain, I don't know what the determination is, certain people outside their culture or in their culture who are identified not of their class, and serve them in that way.
Yeah, that's slavery.
Yeah.
So they all for slavery. East Indian.
East
Moor.
Indians had a huge number of slaves in southern India of their own people.
And they was big slave traders.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the British
Yeah,
had the East Indian Company there, because they was slave trading.
Yeah. And they were overseers too, and they captured slaves.
Of course. It's just that most our people don't know that our people was sold off the same way other nations have been sold off by the Moors. They were big time human traffickers of Afro-Americans, or who they was calling the Aboriginal people of this continent.
Yeah, no, we don't know about that existing here, and it was here, and
Yes.
it was selling us elsewhere too.
We do know it existed here. I just been proving it for the last 3 days.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I
see,
know.
you don't hold. I'm a historian. I just come to set history correct. The Moors were not only a part of the slave trade; they ran the ships with the French, with the Spaniards. You what? What happened? What don't you agree with?
The Moors were in Spain.
The Moors was here too. Yes, ma'am.
I'm just wondering
The
about
more the
how they
Moors
made this.
the Moors was the pirates. You know that, right?
Yeah. Well, that I didn't know.
Yeah, they the pirates. All you gotta type in the Barbary pirates.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, just type it in Google. The Barbary pirates. Let's do it together so you will know this is real. I'm not telling you nothing. The Barbary pirates.
You know, I never associated that, and I've heard it. I've never associated
I
that.
know. That's my job here on Earth. It's to wake even the enlightened ones up. That's what I'm telling you. You know. So this is easy. This should be easy for you to call. Wait a minute. Are you yeah, they are the pirates. They was running a whole pirate system through the Caribbean, Jamaica, all this, all the islands of the Northern Hemisphere, down there in North America. They was establishing for the British monarchy. But they was to set forth this first. So that's why I was surprised that they put it in the Pirates of the Caribbean. It's like a whole history lesson in that.
I have to watch that.
Yeah, but the Barbary pirates, yes, this is the Ottoman courtiers. They were all Muslim, same as now.
Well, that's why there was a movie. It was called Mr. Johnson.
And what happened?
Now it was African, supposed to be a comedy, but it was serious because there it was showing the politics of not of slavery, but slave labor, right? Because they were building the railroad in Africa, in a country in Africa, and they showed the Muslim imam, and they were showing the African chief, and then Mr. Johnson, I think he was an African assistant in the office. Now they focused on him. They didn't. You saw slaves in the background. They never showed slaves in their lives, but it showed how decision making was done. It showed the roles of the imam and the chief in that decision making, and what happened to Mr. Johnson when he got ahead of himself. He was like I guess like we are, the consumer who went to work every day. And it's interesting how that played out in that movie. But it definitely showed that there wasn't everybody there wasn't a slave. Not everybody there was beholden to the British who were there in the way that you would think. And they actually had royal or chief or leadership positions as
well, of course. That's where you get the Royal African Company. Of course, they had leadership positions. That's what I'm saying. It's all coincides with one another. The only difference is it's all one period. They spliced it up to extend the history as if it happened some 15 AD and this year's 11. It's all one time period. Once you get the time frames correctly, you get the pirates there on them islands, the courtiers, the French. It's all here. 16th century, 17th century, 18th century, and 19th century. It's all here.
That's now.
Yeah, of course. That's right now. That was just yesterday. So
that's my great grandmother was born in 1900. So yeah,
of course, and her great grandmother was in the midst of it all. Yeah, what the hell
I have
is going
pictures of
on
her.
Here?
Wow, yeah.
So yeah, it's all about slave trading, big time corporations, stock market bonds, and stuff like that. But I'm just taking it back and bringing it forward. That's all. The Moors were nothing more than the pirates, buccaneers, the ones who the strong arm of the British monarchy and the Dutch monarchies and stuff like that. Paid mercenaries.
Mm-hmm.
And they can split they can split whatever they find, because the real money like they would know, is the minerals that after y'all finish taking what y'all can get, we gonna come in and industrialize it and make trillions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Trillion, and take the gold reserve and the silver reserve. They can take that little stuff that they rob off the sheets, the ships, from gold to silver and coins, and split it. Well, they go town from town doing the same thing. Because when them oil rigs go up, and them, you know, and they give them leadership positions, they might be a governor to a town or something. Make their legacy live on forever and ever. Nothing but a sell out.
But I know in Africa, was it the 80s and 90s, you had a lot of you got some of your, I think some of them are even in the one or two, or even more than that, in the 1%. They talk about the global 1% now with oil. Yeah, Africans dying in oil refineries, blowing up all over the world, people all over the world trying to get to oil for their own energy. But the people, the wealthy who had it from those countries, they're part of the 1% now. And there was one, I don't even want to talk because I can't remember her name, but she came out in entertainment around this Black Lives Matter thing, and then come to find out her family was from royalty.
Who?
I gotta get her name. I'll put it in the chat. But come to find out, she was talking all this Black Lives Matter stuff, and her family's from royalty. I think oil. I think she's a comedian. I gotta get her name.
A lot of these foreign blacks is from royalty. Over here perpetrating some black lives and stuff like that, when it's really them that need to be saved. A lot of them is trying to save their own face with this 400-year propaganda. Not 400-year, but this whole slavery and reparations for slavery thing. A lot of these people don't even belong here. And just for the sake of argument, trying to prolong confusion. That's why I'm saying what's owed to the Afro-American is not reparations. It's more like restitution.
Right.
Because what's been done to them is the same as apartheid. And then they still haven't got back right. So that's what I want to talk about right now, and how the Moors were in fact working for the slave traders, if in fact ran the routes and led to discovery with Columbus over here, as they established these small colonies and companies over here on North America. Each ship was given a different company. And the reason why these companies are registered on foreign lands is because it's cheap slave labor. Boom. Once again. Or you register.
So depending on where they were located.
Go ahead.
Depending on where they were located, that's the resource that they processed, and the people that they drove to process it.
There you go. There you go.
Because I remember when I was a kid watching Channel 13 and watching a documentary about Brazil. And there was a foundation that was in Brazil, and they were tapping trees for rubber, for tires. And if you didn't work hard enough and fast enough, they would chop their hands or chop their feet off. And I ended up in that environment and mentioning that. And that was the wrong thing to say. They did not like the idea of recalling that history.
I tend to stay away from just, for me, I don't even know. What I'm talking about is something more grand than chopping someone's hands off. There's so many places that do this. I don't know. I'm more into holding accountability where accountability is due. If we're holding the United States corporation accountable, then the Moors who helped found the Virginia Company and the East India Company, and all of these people cannot pretend today as if they're fighting or they're with the Afro Americans when in fact they helped put them into slavery. The Moors held enslaved the indigenous people of North America.
This is true.
You don't think so, do you? Are you a Moor?
I know so.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm trying.
I know so.
Yeah, they helped, and they not only did that, they had that with the backing of the British royal companies, the British royal family. And now today they're talking about they helping us be free and we got to be sovereign and this one and that one. When in fact they were the ones who stole and sold you to the same European. You was a part of the whole trafficking across the world.
Yeah. Well, I'm just wondering about this transition now, because now they're coming to the land that made them all their wealth, really. Because even more than Britain, America has helped or influenced the sale of the resources that they gathered all these people to slave for. And it's almost, to me, a lot of those practices have never left the generations of people's minds. And to me, and someone mentioned the name of the person, she wrote an article about her father or grandfather who had this history of wealth, but there had to be an opinion about the people who slaved for it. And I just know that is in these people's minds, and they have not gotten enough. Or their later generations have stayed with their later generations, and they still want to hold that position, and they still want masses of people who will continue to help them drive this wealth. That's just my way of thinking. From what I can see, I don't see how you come to another country and claim that you are black, but not attach yourself to the history that you are uncovering.
What do you mean by that? They because black Afro Americans aren't black.
True.
So why would they attach themselves to the word black and our struggle when it was a part of your captivity? That's what I'm saying. Why would an African come here and want to be like you when they know who you is?
Well, they know. Africans didn't just get here. I mean, I have known or been around Africans since I've been here, right? Since the 70s. Africans came here then, and they were going to medical school as exchange students.
I'm not even talking about that. They've been coming here since the Barbary piracy. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You talking about some other stuff, man. Thank you for the call, man. No. I think you got to get to the level of that right there. I want to stay right here. Thank you for the call, sister. I want to stay right here because it's important that we know this. I just don't want to sit on the phone and talk about these random things. I do want to, stay on the piracy and their transatlantic slavery. Look, here we go. Look, the Turkish Barossa brothers who took control of the Algiers on behalf of the Ottomans in the early 16th century. That's what I'm talking about here, fam. KevRow University, you on the air.
Hello, how you doing?
What's up,
you heard that you heard that tongue twist? You hear you trying to say something in that tongue?
I have no idea what you was trying to say. You got to fix your phone and your mentality, sir. Sorry for your luck. Hey, 424-209-9506. You feel me? The white people didn't do nothing but bring more money, most shipping building technique to the Barbary coast and help in exchange for letting them hustle and grind they slaves over there too. Look, the Concierge extended their activities to the Atlantic Ocean. No shit, because it was the Atlantic slave trade. The effects of the Barbary rage peaked in early mid. Oh my goodness. 424-209-9506. So we can come to the conclusion that the Barbary pirates, the Buccaneer, all of these people are one and the same with European slave traders and different companies of East India, West India, the Royal, the Ottoman Empire, but really put forth by the Royal African Company.
To accept, press.
KevRow University, you on the air.
Hey, what's up? What's up, y'all?
What's up, champ?
Hey, yeah, you right though, bro. You hear me? Cause I remember when I was in school, we went on a field trip to a place called Fort Frederico, right? So this is like this St. Simon in Georgia, and we had went on a field trip, like some type of archaeologist type of field trip. So the first thing you notice though when you get there is a British flag. It's kind of, strange. You see the American flag, you say the Pledge of Allegiance. Y'all go on a field trip out on the flag. So they, they make it seem like, James Oglethorpe came over and, they give you a little history. They don't give you the full, history. So I asked my grandma about it. And she was telling me the same thing, like, she said it was like, everything was all good, so they started bringing them people over here. So I just wanted to
So you saying your grandma validated that they was bringing a lot of foreign slaves over here?
Yeah, that's what she said. Yeah, cause see, my people Gullah Geechee.
The Gullah people? The Gullah? You said the what?
Yeah.
The Geechee?
The Gullah. Yeah, the Gullah and the Geechee people. Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, see, my grandma was the original folk singer.
Yes.
Yeah, so she came out like probably around the time matter of fact, her and your granddaddy received the award at Yale in like 1930s or 1928, something like that.
So yes,
so
you own game. You own game.
Yeah, I'm on with you. I'm here with you, bro.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I'm here with you.
Yes, sir.
I'm here with you for sure. So I'm just sitting back and I'm like, dang, that man just answered I'm 30, so that's like 20-year question to me, like, why is this British flag over here? And then my granddaddy, he told me, he like, Fort Frederico. He like, that sounds Spanish though. I said, yeah, but how is it British? He just sat back and he ain't say nothing. Like, that's how they do. They just say things and that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, they don't go to deep. They can figure out the sentence. So but I appreciate it, man. You really helped me out. You opening my eyes, man. It's just crazy, man, to know how these folks really did us, man, because it's systematic. We be going through it time and time again, and somewhere we got to stand up, wake up, and just see, like, okay, the game got to stop right here.
Yeah, and you got to voice your opinion, even if you just finding it like you just did, like it just start clicking. Like I realize that now, like I be kicking information that's organic, and people like, damn, that's why all this shit. It start clicking old shit 10, 15, 20 years ago you used to think about, but I guess that's just what I do, man.
So before I let you go, let me just say I was doing research on an event that happened down there called the War of Jenkins' Ear, War of 1812 of Jenkins' Ear.
Okay.
So when you saying a Buccaneer, You see what I'm saying? It's making sense. It's just clicking like, oh, okay. This what these people was doing, you know, Evo landing and all this. Now,
Right.
okay, that makes sense now. All right, I got it. So, like I said, I just appreciate it, bro. Thanks for dropping that knowledge. You know, I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna go to the back of the class and continue to learn.
Thank
I
you for that,
appreciate it.
King.
If y'all out there, go ahead, call in, man. You know.
Might as well. I'm just chilling. Might as well call. Yeah, thank you for the call, champ.
All right.
My man, Coffee and Kush TV, KevRow University in full effect. 424-209-9506. The company of the Royal Adventurers trading into Africa was the follow-up name given to this. The following, you know, every 10, 20 years they go bankrupt and they got to make up a new name. So it was originally founded as the Company of Royal Adventurers Trading into Africa. And it was all about human trafficking. 424-209-9506. I hope y'all get y'all people on my Patreon. I'm going to drop the link to KevRow University, Professor Gill's official classroom, and you already just check out the videos in which I'm researching and stuff like that, and put some validity to the information, because I be freestyling a lot. I'll Google this shit right here because it just be in my brain. Sometimes I get a damn epiphany, like damn, like with the pirates and a Flying Dutchman, and always having a captain and stuff like that. It means a lot more to me than people realize. I'm just explaining it on my YouTube page. 424-209-9506. Africans who sold Africans into slavery. And when you talk about the French and stuff like that, make sure you know that them is Africans right there. You feel me? You know how they be saying when Africans was kings. That's when you was really getting your head beat in. You was getting your head beat in.
To accept.
KevRow University on the air. What up?
What's going on, Bubba?
What's up, champ? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Word. So, yep. I'm calling the bill on top of the last caller, bro.
Go ahead, champ. You got it.
Yeah, he was talking about the Gullahs and the Geechees.
Well, he said that them was just his people and his grandmama. He didn't touch up on it. Our subject matter is the Moors who were trafficking Afro Americans.
Okay. Yeah, I'm out here in the area too where he's from, so that's why I was saying that. But yeah, the Moors, they did a number basically.
What you mean by that?
It's almost like they've been fighting on their side the whole time, you know.
You said they've been fighting on what side?
On the British side.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. You know, something just brought me back to Benjamin Banneker. You know, I used to hear a lot of the Moors talk about Benjamin Banneker. And didn't they build a building in Europe or something dedicated to him?
I have no idea. Talk to me, King.
A Big Ben clock or something like that. But basically, what I'm getting at is he was a Moor who would help survey Washington D.C. along with
when you say survey Washington D.C., we got a lot of students that's new here. Could you be a little bit more simple? What do you mean, like help plan and formulate Washington?
Yeah.
Are the blueprints of it and stuff like that?
Yeah, help plan and develop. A surveyor who basically cuts off land, says this is what, you know, this is a certain, footage or area for so and so, for this king, or whomever the king granted land to, whatever lord was underneath the kings, or King Charles or whomever. He basically granted land, to the lords, and then the lords became the governors over here.
You're absolutely right. That's what people. I want people to know that. Go ahead.
Okay. Once the lords became the governor over here, just like you saying, the Moors were on the ship, navigating the ship for them, showing them the land. How are they able to survey the land if they wasn't here?
I'm with you.
Yeah, so you hitting on a lot of points, man. That I'm picking up on, a lot of stuff that I just found out about you in the past week or so. But a lot of things that I study, I see that you've been touching on. I just wanted to, what I'm saying.
Yeah, I love it. I just like freestyle talking about it. I just like the art of the conversation about how brothers build up on it. Somebody in the chat room said, no more Wikipedia or something. But people got to know is this is just the internet. This is just something for me to be like, blah, blah, blah. There's what I'm talking about. But you can look at various documentaries, even of the past. You can come up with your own logic and come up with the same distinctions. A lot of what I'm saying, you can't even look up nowhere. You just got to make sense of, like, the Moors was the pirates, and the pirates was this one, and then the French was these niggas, and they enslaved all of us, and then the white folks jacked them for us and put us on bonds, like on some Social Security bullshit. Though, I just want to put it all in chronological order and not nobody have no feelings about it. The only people that's supposed to have feelings is the Afro-Americans anyway. So I don't even know why people are getting upset.
Yeah. I mean, I say this. It seems like a lot of people protecting each other. You got
years of knowledge. You got people directing Egypt and stuff to be on the other side of the planet. The tombs of the great fallen ones and stuff like that. You got so many different philosophies out here. Shit, I'll be mad too. Like, hell no. I'm putting a lot of that shit at risk because simple truth, a lot of people just waking up naturally.
Yeah, man.
21 Savage is a Frenchman or a British monarch.
Yeah.
It's funny to me. He said he was in the 3rd ward or the 6th ward. And, bro, if you don't knock it off, I'm just saying that these people have been linked to these are pirates. That's why they got a knife in the middle of their forehead. A little sword. Shit. All the signs is there, man. Once you start paying attention to DJ Khaled and all of these people, wait a minute, these are some goddamn pirates.
You're right.
Y'all ask
all
them,
of them
why all of them quarantine right now too. You crazy as hell. Why you think they rob all their artists? Why you think?
Because they belong to them. They're slaves.
Motherfucker, he was a slave. Shit, that's mine. The captain of this LLC corporation bad boy ship. If you don't like it, you can walk the plank. And I still own your soul, so you ain't doing nothing else without me.
You're right about that one. Good. Yeah. I'm gonna touch on a little something what my man was talking about with the Gullah. The Gullah goes back to the Gwale province. The Gwale province was here, in South Carolina.
And what about it?
That was what this North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida was called, when they got here, it was called Guale. This area, this little territory here.
I'm listening.
And over time, the term changed to Gullah. Guale, Gullah, Geechee, all that are indigenous terms. They're not no African terms. So if you're calling yourself a Gullah, that means you from here. They try to say Gullah comes from Angola, but no, Gullah comes from Guale.
That's the whole point. Whenever we find ourselves here, they say, no, that's over there on the continent of Africa where you come from.
The word. Yeah, they try to put you back in somebody else's history and take yours, basically.
They don't got no choice. Everybody has taken a part of the Afro-Americans' heritage here in America. Even the Asians now own hip-hop, so we have nothing. We have no baggy clothes, no style, no nothing, because we've been just all sides. It's not left.
Yeah, European design. Yeah.
Now they just want your brain. They want you to just be totally slave-oriented, put a mask on, be a slave, don't say nothing, don't talk to each other, don't do nothing.
Yep. Basically,
stay proper.
All this was the Mississippi culture. You know what I'm saying? The mound builders.
Yeah, that's all ours. That's all. Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question. You know what put the pirates out of business?
You say who put the pirates out of business?
Do you know what put the pirates out of business?
No, I would say war, but I'm not sure.
They had a bunch of slave trade acts signed in the 1800s, early 1800s, which later became what Abraham Lincoln did when he freed the slave. But they was already working on that, trying to take the hand off of British Empire. They was trying to take Britain's hand off of American colonies. The colonies was trying to separate themselves from the same corporation that funded them in the first place.
Yeah.
They was slaves too of the monarch.
Yeah. That funded basically a bunch of criminals.
Yes, sir. And in order to get rid of the slavery, they slave master, they had to abolish slavery in all of its form. They didn't want to get rid of their own slaves, though. They just didn't want to be slaves to the British monarchy. We got this far using their own laws against them in the corporate world. You know that, right?
Yeah.
We say, wait. We Americans too. Now they stuck in limbo because what they use to get themselves free, you as their property is now able to use to get yourself detached from them. And without you, there's no them. And you the original Aborigine in the first place. You ain't got no reason to be a slave to a foreigner, a foreign dictator or nothing. No, communist lifestyle. It's a sovereign land, sovereign God.
I'll say this: I've been to court quite a bit, and what I've learned is when you use the status of indigenous American, you an indigenous American man or woman, they can't do anything to you. They can't touch it because the term indigenous, they have no laws against it.
You like an endangered species according to the Pope.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're going to get into that. Right now we on Civil War. What is it? How the Moors was trafficking Afro-Americans throughout the world and Africans. people of North African tribes was also sold over here via Moorish slave ships. You people ain't never heard that before. That's new.
Yeah.
When they asked me where the slave boats at and who's running the transatlantic slave, I say the Moors, the pirates, the buccaneers, them. They were selling us to the Englishmen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's who they learned it from. I mean, you know.
No, they created it. They created it.
They kind of bragged about it.
Yeah, the Englishmen learned it from them over there.
Mm-hmm.
They just didn't have the money. That's the thing about pirates. They work on consignment. They work on when we get the money, we got you. So the British monarchy with the Pope and them, they got the money. They got the fiat currency, all the shit that you need for a favor. We'll just own your boat. We'll own the company.
Yep. Matter of fact, I read
and create a charter company. A charter company is an association with investors of shareholders that is incorporated and granted rights by royal charter for the purpose of trade, exploration, and or colonization. Chartered company. So when you got India, East India Company, that is a chartered company. That's what their job is to do, is to colonize. The United States of America is a chartered company. Virginia Company, charter.
These states are chartered companies because I read the charter of South Carolina, and in that charter, it says that you have to be, in order to be a citizen, you have to be white.
The motherfuckers say whites only for slavery. White. These niggas, I want slavery too.
So technically, if you anything other than that, you're not a citizen.
If you go by what law is, as far y'all wanted this shit, they forced to do it. Y'all wanted into their system. Yeah. They want to make $10 an hour.
Yeah.
They want to get their taxes taken. They want to get promised 401ks and shit. For the safety, it's all about the safety. Then when the bank collapse, which is going to do, time after time after time and time again, I just named so many different companies that don't rename themselves and they going to crash. And when they do, you're going to be out of a job.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's going to happen? You ain't got no trade. You didn't work on you was making fun of people. You was working at Taco, at wherever job, slave job you.
And not only that, with these PPP loans.
Oh, they in trouble.
You know, you basically pledging your business to the charter. When you get a loan, if you're not forgiven, and no term.
That just sounds crazy if you ain't forgiven. Oh my goodness. Boy, if that British Empire forgive that PPP loan you lied on, boy. So many people going to jail over this PPP government grant.
Man, they already locking them up.
That was a cold trick for a prison system, ain't it?
Yeah. If you out here buying anything other than what they tell you to do with that money, you're going to jail. That's their money.
Sir, what you mean anything? You lied on the application from the start. You said that you was running 3 laundromats, a Burger King, and you was working from home, and this one and that one, and then you bought a Lamborghini, a $4 million house, off a $5 million check, and you got $300,000 left.
Man, As a matter of fact, they tell you to pay your employees with that money.
They gonna say they is the employee. You know how our people
Yeah. Yeah.
They gonna be like the founder of Black Lives Matter. This one for my mama, my cousin, these all my employees right here, right here. A bunch of pirates, sir.
Man. If you ain't getting no grant, don't do it.
Just work hard. Just get what you gonna
Yeah.
get. Just work hard for your own money. Keep your hand in your pocket and on your steering wheel on the way to get some more money with your own shit. I don't want nobody offering me no loan, no nothing. Every time they ask me, man, let me see if you can get some credit and all that. Fuck that. Here, take this cash. What the fuck are you asking me about this, folks? Huh?
Don't they give you 40 years to pay it back? That's longer than a mortgage.
To pay what back?
The PPP.
Oh my goodness, that's a setup. I don't know how long it take you to pay that back. 40 years? That's a slave deal for your life.
40 years a slave.
Oh my goodness, is that what it is? 40 years of damn slave is a 40-year debt. Makes you a slave all over again.
Under your corporation.
That you chose to go in debt for. That's why they should have never invented the ghost ship nor the straw man.
Yeah.
40 years, 30 years a slave, man.
Okay, 30 years.
Whatever they say it is, it's too damn long to throw yourself at a slave system when you're free. All you got to do is go pick up a trade or something, learn some electricity or something with a hammer. Yeah.
Man, I'm a plumber.
You a plumber?
Yeah.
See? Especially if you're one of these big old buff dudes. What y'all talking about? Aren't you gonna lift some weight? Go put some bricks together and learn how to build homes and shit. I never got that. I know if I was big as hell, I'd be doing something out this bitch flexing around with no t-shirt on, dude, acting a fool. Working though.
No, you can't be real big to be a plumber now. You got to squeeze in some tight holes sometimes.
Call me.
But
good,
yeah, man.
Thank you for the call.
I'll call it.
Thank you for that, champ. Yeah, man. You don't want to sign yourself up back up for slavery and shit. Nip said, take the stairs. Exactly. I'm cool. Nigga is not in no rush to get to nowhere. You gave me some money to put me a whole step down backwards. I could have been in my destination if I had never sold my fucking shit to you. If I would have never had you in my motherfucking ear. You ever been around people that they just suck all your energy up? I'm gonna do a show on that. They just suck all your energy up. You ain't as creative. You ain't making enough money. You just somebody fucking you up. Somebody fucking you up. Coffee and Kush TV. But we're gonna get back to it. He completed the surveying after the French surveyor. It was invented to be able to dissolve quickly. 424. I'm gonna see if anybody else want to get up on here, and I'm finna get up out of here and do some more research on more piracies and more slave trading, if that makes sense. My thing is to prove that the slave trade did in fact exist, who was running it, who bought and sold, and which companies, so we can get paid. It seems like whenever it's time for us to get paid, this distraction, we got other countries and institutions that already admitted and said, sorry, what a travesty, and we need to get over, okay? So these companies are locked in. You got to also find out how you got into slavery and what are these companies' names. from Virginia Company to the Company of the United States of America to the East Indian, to the British East India Company, to the Dutch West India Company, to the Black Royal Company. And the many other companies that's out there, you know, for the invasion. It's time to start looking at some maps, some complete maps, so y'all can see it's more than one way to get to America. Ask the Eskimos and how they came through Russia. Coffee and Kush TV. Are we done here? The Berbers today are indigenous to North Africa. They are not black. I'm from the Horn of Africa. Tell them again. Tell them again. The Berbers, the Moors are from North Africa. Press 1. They from North Africa. This is the top region. Northern and West Africa. That's where they from. Facts. And if you're a Moor, then you're a part of the Asian community, the melanated people, the Pan-African, the Asians, the East Indians. Those are all Moors. Under one banner is, and they all Muslim. Press 1. That's all you gotta do is do your small little research. You feel me? Just take part. The Virginia Company equals tobacco, Dutch, big oil and gas. You see that? Now, what? Now, check this out, Miss Edwards. When we start talking about the resources that each individual companies were able to come in unison and steal from you, please take part, because you're absolutely right. Don't give everybody the answers, but you're absolutely right. These are different companies that came into unison as a piracy group within democracy to take your resources and take them back. These foreign nations have all gotten rich off of this homeland, from the oil to untapped oil to natural gas to slavery to, as you look back correctly on history from the inception of the 1600s and when all of this shit was going down, all of the world's riches, okay, ain't nothing over there in East Asia after all this time. They ate everything up. That's the oldest plate religious group on East India, East Asia. There are billions of people over there. They don't ate every goddamn thing up over there. Ain't nothing over there but squids and octopuses in the ocean. Quit playing with me. And bats and shit. KevRow. I'm on a whole different level with this shit. That's it. Ain't nothing over there. We got tobacco, wheat, blah, blah, blah. All that shit was here, family.
Earn free crypto just by learning about it.
It's a whole nother level of information, man. Let's take a listen real quick. Let's see if we can hear something real quick. This is Moorish Spain.
That was supposed to be quote unquote fun.
Unpacking the rise and fall of the Moors in Spain. It's time to go to the Discord and watch these movies, because like I was saying, they right here.
But what is interesting is that they would opt to wear a fez or a tarbush, which is associated with wisdom. So the tarbush or the fez is associated with having a certain amount of wisdom, esoteric, spiritual, etc.
Ain't nothing but Buddhism, Mohammedanism, all that stuff in one. That's it.
the Roman Catholic Church still sees the Muslim world as the threat.
Oh, this is going to be fun to watch. I'm going to watch that. That will further explain the crafty council double up. Of course. Of course. It's like Knights of the Round Table, the European Union. Of course. That's the crafty council. Goes back to the 13 families. Of course. You got the 13 colonies. Of course. These are the 13 different families under what? Under a chartered company. Under the chartered company. And a lot of these chartered companies are the Royal African Company, the Dutch West Indian Company. Press 1. They all participated in human trafficking, aka slavery. The New West Indian Company, the West Indian Company, the Barbary pirates, the Barbary coast, the Barbers in North America, the Berbers. All of these are the French, Spaniards, the British, and the European superpowers that came to conquer them as separate, but under one eagle, as one group. You understand what I'm saying? As a charter company. That way you get the Spains, the Dutch. That way we'll just go over here, steal from them, and that'll be enough to blood suck them. And we'll just split instead of fighting each other. Why don't we just form a charter company? They still think we're separate. We'll just fly over. We just send our ships over there and bombard it from the sea, and there it is. There you got 13 different families: British, Dutch, Portuguese, all type of royalty in AI, and lots of plunder to split within. Press 1. You got African nations that want to take part and become rich. All that. You should study languages because with language you can track history. Thank you, Banana. I take that in consideration. I like that. 3,000 to 4,000 years ago, we didn't use the term black. Even closer than that, this isn't about 3,000 to 4,000 years ago. This is about 100 to 400 years ago, and how the term black and all these other colored laws was put on us. We're not talking about 4,000 years ago. We're talking about right here, right now. Thank you, Banana. You should study Kev Gills so you'll get a track mind. No, I got a timeline right here in my brain, Banana. You feel me? I got a timeline right here in this super cranium. You know what they used to call me in school? Little Bill. This is a big head. You feel me? You should research me and what I've done. That's what you should do. Shout out to y'all. The black Europeans colonized the black aboriginals in the Americas, traded places with the Albions to try to hide. Thank you. Who is that? Engineer. You're a blessing. Now, I want everybody to look at that comment by Engineer. And it says, cat is out the bag. Black European colonized the black aboriginals, Indians, in the Americas, traded places with the Albions and tried to hide. Now, where have you been this whole class? How well said, sir. That's why I like interaction. It's because comments like that. A few grandmas ago, right, Chris Shaw? Do you see that comment? That's the type of comment I do this for. People do this shit for likes, likes, and all fan clubs. The fact that somebody can say that in the chat room, cat is out the bag. Black Europeans colonized the black aboriginals in the Americas. Traded places. Listen, we ain't gonna get into all that. 424-209-9506. Y'all notice the Moors ain't called in? Y'all notice the Pan-Africans ain't called in? Y'all ain't noticed it? Because they can't. You think Tariq Nasheed can talk to me? You think Big Head Jabari, who trying to convince me that I'm African, ain't watching tonight? You think these bald head Pan Africans ain't watching it? God damn. If we let this continue, he gonna convince everybody that we pirates. They don't even know they pirates. We pirates? Pirate. The pirate. And you trying to convince us of to go to a nation we know not. What happened to the Moors? They so smart. Oh yeah. Remember what he said? What that Moor say? He said, man, you can be on a pirate ship and don't even know it. That's when I realized they gatekeepers. They not even gonna tell you what I'm telling you. Because they can't. They took a sworn oath. They bet not tell you. Press 1. They can't tell you you're on a big pirate ship and you got to know the laws of the pirate codes and all this secret Illuminati and all this blah, blah, blah shit to scare the shit out of you and make continuous YouTube videos for you to live in conspiracies for the rest of your life. Fear and conspiracies. When the truth is sitting right here in your face. Live and direct. You know damn well in the why you think Ice Cube's favorite football team is what? The Raiders. Pirates. And what was he doing? He made sure that was in the video. Raiders shirt, Raiders beanie, big beer, Pirates in the background. Why would he do that? And why a new contract? And y'all was laughing when we brought up Black Sam being a pirate. Guess what? Who one of the richest pirates of all time was? Black Sam. Yes, a pirate. I just found this shit out myself. I said, damn, that do sound like a pirate name. 10 minutes later, turns out I was correct. Black Sam, damn pirate. So it's becoming more and more evident. You know, I'm waking a lot of people up. And if you're not waking up, then you still got some learning to do. And that's fine. I'm here with you. But a lot of people is waking up because of this page. Everybody out there, if you watch it, hit the like button. The double up said you can't dispute the truth. Hell no. You can't dispute that. The Moor don't want you to know that they were slave traders. Once you find out that it was these old people, your old people, slave traded. Black Spaniards, Moors, East Indians, Dravidians, all that to pretend to be you. And to step into their position because they have no position in law. Do you understand? They are outlaws, outcasts. They have to pretend that they somebody else because they are outcasts. If they not you, they have no place to go. But you got to stand up for yourself. The gypsies don't have a homeland. Black gypsies, old outcasts of different nations. Once you step into position, you can just how they told the Moors they weren't welcome in Spain, the same way. They want y'all to be focused on the Jew or the white man. It's not only just them. It is the whole, all of them in unison to take yours. That's it. Through piracy. And once you start studying it, you're going to realize that you on one big pirate boat. You got one captain. All of these people you seeing is either illiterate, dumb, or agents of confusion. I've never seen so many grown men worried about little kids who just got in their 20s and dying. Like Chicago and the fantasy of we're all family through some old death culture called rap and drill. I never saw this ever. Y'all brains are so caught up in things that don't matter. And I'm choosing to just focus on the history and waking people up. That's it. I like pass on everything else. Because I'm seeing on YouTube that people just care about the craziest shit. Kev, have you seen the long ships with Sydney Portier? No, I haven't, Michael Eubanks. You're considered an outlaw before your birth certificate is signed. Well, you are, but you are considered an outlaw. What I'm saying is they live outside of any law, outside of the law of the land. That's where they live. And you're right. They live outside the law of the land, which is pirates law, which y'all know as today like maritime law. You know, they just reversed it. Once you live on the land and you just have birth record and not birth certificate, then you gonna know that they are outlaws. They have no homeland or nothing. You feel me? You know what they used to do with pirates? To pirates, you know why they left those pirates in the Dominican Republic, all in the Caribbean, and why they independent states? Because they don't got nowhere to go. They can't go back to France. They can't go to French. They can't go to the British because they are like the afterbirth of buccaneers. And what do you do to pirates who disrespected the crown? You moonshine them. Send them off to an island with a bottle of water and a gun. And let them sit there and raise their family there. Part of no nation. But we'll get into that after a while. Coffee and Kush TV. Let me see. Kev, what do you believe about ancient Egypt? I don't know what I don't know what you mean by what do I believe about ancient Egypt? I don't understand that. I don't understand that question. Rome is the union of the Slavic, Albion, and the Etruscan Empire. The Etruscans enslaved the very first Slavs to get slavery. Oh, I got you. I was, that's like a white cargo too. You know, the Slavics and stuff like that. Again, these are a lot of the people that came over in the transatlantic slave trade as well. The Slavics and the people like that. It's just what it was. My phone number is 424-209-9506. We gonna get more into it. The Barbary pirates. Let me see if I got something on the Barbary pirates real quick. See, the thing ain't y'all must admit, listen, y'all, it ain't about who can go to the oldest books or nothing like that. It's about who could chronologically put it together for you and make sense that you can look at it and it affects you in a way that your body, you're going to have an epiphany moment when you're learning. Not being instructed or nothing like that. That's why we leave the phone lines open. Now, I'm not telling you this. I'm giving you some cue words and you start to know that life is exactly not what it seems. Our history, constitutional war powers, Thomas Jefferson and the Barbary pirates. Now hold up. Now let me see this. Right here. Now let's listen to this real quick.
Immediately after the Revolutionary War, the U.S. lost the protection of the naval forces of Britain and France in the Mediterranean. And the Barbary pirates were the naval forces of the satellite states of the Ottoman Empire, who essentially demanded tribute or would seize commercial vessels and hold as prisoners and hostages their crews, and sometimes even put them into slavery.
Listen to me, y'all. Listen to me.
Immediately after the Revolutionary War, the U.S. lost the protection of the naval forces of Britain and France in the Mediterranean. And the Barbary pirates were the naval forces of the satellite states of the Ottoman Empire, who essentially demanded tribute or would seize commercial vessels and hold as prisoners and hostages their crews, and sometimes even put them into slavery. Jefferson heard about the seizures of American commerce, and he realized that something had to be done, but he was against paying tribute or ransom. So when the issue came up in Jefferson's time, Jefferson did explicitly authorize the naval forces that Congress had provided him to defend American commerce. And if they saw a Tripolitan Barbary pirate ship coming out to attack a U.S. commercial vessel, they were given instructions to go ahead and prevent that attack and to attack those vessels. He did not inform Congress of those specific instructions. It's important to emphasize that Jefferson did nothing wrong. When Congress provided him with these very impressive ships, their purpose was to defend American commerce in the Mediterranean. That's why they were built. That's why Congress paid for them. The notion that there had to be a declaration of war before any kind of military action went on between the United States and some other foreign country, that was not anything that occurred to any of the major framers of the Constitution at the time. They regarded the use of these vessels as purely defensive. They were going to be going out into the Mediterranean and protecting American commerce. And the Tripolitan or Tunisian or Algerian ships that would come out and attack our commerce had already proved to be aggressive and offensively attacking. The issue of a declaration of war never came up. No one suggested that these actions were illegal because of lack of declaration of war. The important precedent that an objective person would derive from these is that, first of all, that Congress can authorize the use of military force without a declaration of war, just by providing the president with frigates to defend American commerce. This is the way our Constitution works, with power over the same issue.
That's how they got rid of them right there. And you know who the American government was getting those top-of-the-line ships from? Dutch and the East Indian Company and that thereof. So when the pirates that got out of hand, the East Indian Company just said, okay, we're going to give this shit to the Americans. They're going to take out a huge loan, and they're going to pay us in slavery and all this other shit. So fine. They more into the business side, so we're going to get more into that. Coffee and Kush TV, KevRow University. I see the really intelligent people on Discord. I see y'all in a minute. And as always,